Hello, cinema friends. Welcome to another edition of Cinesundry. I'm your host, Markus Seaberry, and today we've got a tale of forbidden love in the Deep South as we review A Jazzman's Blues. All right, and we're going to get into this review of A Jazzman's Blues. First up, let's have the rundown. All right, now, A Jazzman's Blues, basically, like I said, it's a tale of forbidden love in the Deep South. See this guy named Bayou. He falls for a mixed race girl, Leanne, who's passing, and there's all kind of trouble that arises as a result of that. And now, as you know, I always say when I nerd out about movies, I prefer that it's not a solo affair. So, man, I got to bring in a radio giant to me. You may remember him from his days on 95.7 FM. He is currently rocking the mic and ruling the airwaves on 88.5. You all, please help me introduce Mr. Michael Adrian Davis.
What's up, Mr. Markus? How are you, sir?
Man, I'm hyped. This is an honor, man. I've been listening to you for a while. I won't get into specifics. I'm not trying to, age anyone.
Yeah, both of us.
But I've been listening to you in this great city for quite a while.
All right, it's an honor to be here, man.
Glad to hear. Well, all right. I guess first up in this review, we're going to talk about acting and director's technique. All right. First, I want to spotlight three actors. First of all, we got Joshua Boone. He plays Bayou. This guy, he's kind of a relatively new actor. I think he was on Law and Order like most actors in New York. He was on Law and Order. Done a little Broadway. Man, I liked his portrayal of Bayou. I mean, Bayou seemed like the embodiment of all his life he had to fight,
Yeah.
People thought he was dumb, thought he wouldn't amount to anything. Hardly anybody believed in him. He just kept fighting and struggling and tried to make some out of himself. How'd you feel about Joshua Boone as Bayou?
Yeah, I was trying to pull up Joshua Boone. I didn't know. I've never watched Law and Order, so I didn't. To me, he was a absolute newcomer. But I thought,
most actors in New York are on like one episode. They like commit a crime, have a crime done to them. I was like, yeah, typical New York actor story.
At least he's better than Atmosphere, and then he walked through the back. So
hey, I did that for Young Rock season 3 recently, man.
So he thinking role too, but he was relatively a new actor to me, and so I didn't have any reference point to compare him to any of his other work or anything like that. But I thought in this he was believable. I thought his character was soft spoken, and because you kind of walk the storyline through, and I figured that he was going to be the talent because his mom sang, and as far as the scripting was concerned. And then to have that Nat King Cole kind of laid back kind of sound, I thought that was a good touch. So there were a lot of good nuances in the movie that I liked. And so this guy as an actor, I thought he was believable. I thought he was warm and compassionate, and he's the little stutter that he had. What I supposed to do? You know what I mean? It was enough to be Southern, but yet you could tell he had a little intellect as well.
Yes. And next up, I got to talk about the other half of the romantic lead. So Leah Pfeiffer is Leanne. Leanne is mixed race, but she later begins passing. This actress is fairly new to me. I believe she's done some Broadway. She was on an episode or two of Scandal, and like I said, she's passing. She seems to genuinely love Bayou, but she kind of gets forced into an arranged marriage, and I gotta say, as Leanne grew up, I began to like her less. She kind of had a few little jerk, not so nice moments. How'd you feel about Leah's portrayal of Leanne?
Yeah, she as an actress, first of all, I thought she did a pretty good job portraying the character. Again, oftentimes the script is only as, I mean, the actor is only as good as the script. A lot of times, you know what I mean, and then the nuances that you would ask of them, and so it was a lot of to serve with love kind of moments. You know what I mean? It was like these themes were just jumping all over the place. It was like, dude, it's a bite off a lot. You know what I'm saying? And I guess the next generation who hasn't really been exposed to some of these classics and things like that may not I guess kind of put those two and two together. But again, for me, I guess I'll go back. So her acting was, I thought, was again, it was pretty good based on what she had to work with. Um, the character may could have been a little deeper, but I thought, to your point about her meanness and her snaps of morality, so to speak. You know, when Sister Girl hit her, when she slapped the old black girl, she said, "Wait a minute." We'll talk about that later. I'm saying when she hit her back, so just to have that type of attitude for whatever you thought the justification was. Again, those are character flaws that I saw just in human beings, not even in the scripting of Black and White or the South or any of that. You know what I'm saying? So humanity has its own thread, that should be displayed. And so with her being so vulnerable, knowing uh, to your point about her passing, it seems like there's never would have been a moment that you would have done that, where the girl could have then, through retaliation, then told the guy, and then your whole cover is blown. You know what I mean? So the
Yeah,
script wasn't even clever. I mean, it wasn't even clever, and based on maybe I'm moving ahead of ourselves, but again, so I thought she did a good job. I thought her character was a little bit predictable, and the whole kind of thing was had to fit within 2 hours, so it just wasn't natural what they the scripting. But her as an actress and her abilities, I don't know if I could really judge them based on this particular movie, to be honest.
I understand. And finally, rounding out our little trio of actors I'm talking about is Austin Scott, who plays Willie
Oh yeah.
Earl. He is Bayou's brother. He is jealous of Bayou. He has a lot of issues. He is an addict. He is trouble, and he just keeps tagging along with Bayou. Keeps just bringing him down. I was like, yeah, I can relate. Sometimes you had that one family member, you be like, man, if you wasn't my family,
Yeah.
I'd be told you to take a hike and hit the road. But I thought he had a good performance. His character was very troubled, and I think he kind of brought that to the surface. How did you feel about his portrayal of Willie Earl?
I thought it was true. Really, Earl was good. That same, Cain versus Abel, the same, thing. And so the jealous brother, and the same musical theme of a troubled musician, on drugs, heroin, cocaine, whatever that is. So those type of themes in the music world, just jumped in there. You know what I mean? I don't know if I really saw a backstory on Willie Earl about that. What it was about, because the drugs just kind of showed up. You know what I mean? When he put him in his
Yeah,
arms,
yeah,
like what was the precursor to that? You know what I mean? So like he walked away. Remember, he went for the audition, and I know spoiler alert, but when he walked away, and then that's how Bayou got to sing, because he wasn't around when they were performing for the manager. But if that was the precursor, then I'm saying, I don't know about that. But drugs just kind of showed up. You know what I'm saying? I don't know if they
yeah.
showed it. Now his dad now that could have been, and his father. As a matter of fact, what happened to the dad? The dad is kind of went over. Remember the dad? Am I
Yeah,
thinking about
he
the right
just
movie? And when
yeah,
that's
he was just like he was just like, I'm out.
yeah. And I thought the boy was going with him. No, he said, "You can't go with me. Stay here." So maybe that.
Whoa, he died. He died.
Oh, the
Okay.
daddy died. Okay. So maybe that was the precipitous take. That got him on drugs. But they didn't. Maybe I missed it, but I didn't see what made this dude get on drugs, and then how severe that drug dose was, and you know what I'm saying. It just was a throwaway. So, but I guess they needed the character to move the story along to get him out of the town. You know what I'm saying. And but I thought his portrayal of the guy was, of the tall, slender. He was smooth. He was, believable saxophone player. So it was all plausible. So I thought he did a good job.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. And of course, we also got to talk about director's technique. Now, the director is Tyler Perry. Of course, we know him from the Medea films, Why Did I Get Married, Family That Prays, several films. He also acts in other people's projects. I mean, I did think it was, good for him. You know, it seemed like he was stretching his legs, stretching his muscles a bit, kind of not just doing a modern day drama or comedy. I saw effort. I saw, I guess, steps in what I'd like to believe were the right direction. But as you were saying, there was still some points, and things that kind of bother me. Like, for one, I gotta talk about. I'm sorry, man. That gun that Willie Earl pulls on Bayou looked so modern. I was like, that. I'm like, this is not the 1930s. I can buy that gun at Walmart today. But how'd you feel about Tyler Perry as a director on this one?
Yeah, I thought and I don't know in film talk, but in some films, you know how you like when you go to the doctor and they say one or two, three or four, you know what I mean, and those filters and stuff. So I thought that everything about the movies cinematically was somewhat on point. You know what I mean? In other words, the quality of the film, the warmth, the hue. I mean, whatever the word is, it felt good. It felt warm. You know what I'm saying? And the authenticity of some of the pieces. Again, it took you back to Color Purple. It took you to those sets and those scenes. It's like literally we just went there and it's just go. You know what I'm saying? It's like so I don't know if Oprah had a hand in that, but at all, I don't really know the backstory of a lot of this. But so the cinematography was that. So we've seen it, and it was excellent. You know what I mean? So they probably just did that, and then to your point about the gun looking modern or the costuming and the sets and all those kind of things. I thought, to be honest, I got at first because it took me a minute to watch it. I had to do two settings, so I stopped after an hour. And so then at that point, I didn't give too much credence to the surroundings because I was into the storyline, and then I was so busy trying to project what would happen. You know what I mean? I
Yeah,
was boom, and then I got into that, and I became that guy, and then I didn't. So you would have to watch it two or three times to really, to be honest, to get to that. But it didn't take me out of the world. In other words, nothing took me out of the walls of that storyline. So I thought he did well. The camera shots and the angles I thought were believable, and they all made sense.
yeah.
So
Our
yeah,
producer
yeah.
said
Right. And so to
it's
your point about him taking a leap into a different genre or to a different space, or whatever, I definitely concur with that. Um, and we can get into the thought pattern as to why. Again, like I talked about the Lee Daniels and these people who every 3 or 4 years bring us the help or 12 years a slave or you know what I'm saying, and we get one of these, and so now Tyler has been kind of green lit to bring us one of these because and when we get into the story or whatever, spoiler, we can talk about this. But again, as I said earlier, I've always been one hoping that because I believe that until the lion writes the story, the hunter will always be glorified, right? And so
yeah,
finally we are the lions and we're writing the story, and yet we're still getting this type of end. You know what I'm
yeah,
saying? So it's like it's like so, dude. It's just because it's in a black body or in any kind of body, I still have to rise above to the subconscious, the conscious, and the messaging that will live on past the pop of whatever you see, on the screen for a moment because it lives in our psyche, it lives in our children and our people, especially when we stamp these people as his best one ever and we say these things and now you go into it with this type of mindset and so now it becomes a paralysis of analysis. You are analyzing this message in the horrific way in which this guy ended. You know what I'm saying? It's like, well, so well undeserved. You know what I mean? Why would we do that? Why would we even show that imagery at this moment in history and time? You know what I'm saying? So that's another thought. But I thought as far as the packaging of what this is, it was what it was supposed to be.
all right. Yeah, I get that, and yeah, it does seem that even when we make scripts, it's like good old black struggle. There's nothing like
No, I've seen a lot of movies that don't end like that. They just simply don't get greenlit so far. That's, let me put it like that. You see what I'm saying? To the degree and the magnitude. And I don't think this came out on theater, so this came straight to Netflix, right? So it was a
Yeah.
Netflix original. But at this, after this post-COVID time, Netflix is the screen. You know what I mean? Until they get back to the stream, this is the platform where you will make the debuts of influencing the next generation of whatever. So yeah, there was a huge leap for Tyler, and I think he's paid his dues. Whether you like him or don't like him, whether you believe whatever you believe about him, he's definitely paid some dues, and he's earned his right to be in the space.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, okay. We're gonna continue this discussion, but first, here's a word from our sponsors. All right, and we're back. Thank you to Memphis Music Bank, like that, for all my people trying to get those, music and things placed in your projects. Also, shout out to my good friend Patrick Barrington. I see he directed that. That's a buddy of mine from way back. Well, all right, guys, we're here on location Memphis or Cinesundry. We're gonna continue our discussion of a Jazzman's blues, and I guess right now we're going into the heavy spoiler part of our discussion. We're gonna get to it. Like I said, I liked a lot of it. I thought some growth from it there. It was an interesting story. It was a period piece. And like I said, I saw moments, but I kind of felt the story was just like a little rush. Yeah, the producer says it was very predictable. I'm inclined to agree, and then like I don't know, like I said, I struggle because the female lead, and she got older. I was just like, oh, I don't like you anymore. You're kind of not a good person sometimes. And
do you think that was intentional, or do you think that was in the writing? A matter of fact, who wrote the script? Do we know who wrote the script?
Oh, Tyler Perry wrote it.
He actually wrote the script. Yeah. So again, every line, unless I saw a film here in Memphis where almost every line was ad libbed, and you know what I mean. You could tell because the film just went on and on and on. But normally, and to this budget and to this degree, this movie was every line generally is going to be micromanaged. You know what I mean, based on what the writer director said. So you got to wonder, why would you take that transformation to that character to have her make you feel that way? Because we focus group, we know how you feel about each character. You know what I'm talking about? So why would we make you feel that way about her? I wonder. What do you think?
Yeah, I mean, maybe he was. Well, this is a script that he wrote several years ago. Chrissy Taylor, friend of the show, she said it's on her to watch list, but she hears it is a compilation of classic films like Imitation of Life. Yeah, I kind of see some of the resonances and similarities between this film and Imitation of Life. Now, like I said, Tyler Perry says he wrote this a long time ago. I guess he just maybe he wasn't confident in his skills as a filmmaker.
No, he could have written it a long time ago. Those movies have been around a long time. So whether consciously or subconsciously, again, it's like people samples classics bites, beats right now. So it's not unheard of. People do it all the time. And that's what I'm saying. Even the predictability of the movie was not really that much a problem for me. Because again, any movie, I'll try to go in predicting some stuff because I just got that kind of mind. So a lot of people do that. So I do it in white film, black film, Chinese film. It doesn't matter. So I don't think the fault for me is not in that predictability because it's still, again, like I said, the cinematography was good. If I paid $11.50 to go see it, it would have been worth the money because I spent it on other people's films. So let me just preface by saying that. You see what I'm talking about? So it was what it was, and the predictability was not really that much of a problem because it's only there's nothing new under the sun, so to speak. Now to the degree that this was kind of contrite, yeah, you can speak to that a little bit, but they had to move the story along. That's why I said like the brother with the saxophone. We didn't really give him a backstory. We didn't get to know him and to empathize with him. He just had to be there because Bayou had to get out of town. You see what I'm saying? It's like some people sitting around the table and, well, how do we get him out of town? You know what I mean? And that, that kind of thing. And so, but anyway, but the thrust of my point is to the larger degree, if we're writing these stories now, and again, writing and producing and directing is a different thing from getting the green light. Once you get the green light, that means you got this kind of millions of dollars of budgets. You see what I'm saying? And so at that point, there are different gatekeepers. And this is just my opinion. But my opinion is there's different gatekeepers. And once you get to that level where the exposure would be to that degree, then maybe these are the formula at the end of the day, like Queen and Slim. Yeah, you can give us all those themes of Black people helping this guy throughout the city. Yeah, you can give us the themes of us working together, because, whatever, all this. But at the end of this, we're going to end with, you can give us the Nat Turner story with all the, boom and the chop his head and all that. But when you end, you better, you understand what I'm saying? So we got to walk away, with a certain, I guess, thought pattern, So I'm hoping that I'll live to see the day when that character of Bayou, who did absolutely nothing wrong, would have maybe been successful in that town he was in, call that gal up and the baby, and they would have lived happily ever after. You know what I'm talking about? I mean, why not? Why not? Even in the deep South, even with all the racism and all the stuff, somebody got away. You know what I'm talking about? Somebody lived good. Somebody died.
You're right. Somebody got away. Our producer said that she was empathic to the female in the first half of the film, not so much in the second half. And I agree.
But why would a director do that though to your main character? You know what I'm saying? And at the end, and maybe because I got kind of disconnected at the end. But once Bayou got killed, what happened to her at the end? Do you remember, Marcus? What happened to that female character at the end?
I guess it's assumed that she stayed with the white man who she really didn't love.
And so then she lived as a white woman. Okay, so her mother, that means her mother then manipulated her to the degree. And so that worked when she was 18. You see what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
Right? It made sense when she was 18, when she didn't have control over her own self. But then to come back as a character 20 something, I would imagine she was 27 or something. The detective was her son. What detective? But anyway, I'm just saying, have her come back.
There's like an older lady who wants this detective to solve, I guess, the case of what happened to Bayou.
Okay, yeah. Oh, that's I remember. That's right. In the beginning. Yeah. But anyway, I'm just saying that. Yeah. She wanted, but I'm saying that. And then the cop got involved with the case. I got you. But I'm saying that that the girl, she was a grown woman. She was 27, 28, 29, maybe 30. So at this point, to come back and then to see yourself in this perilous, you can then say, I got this baby. This baby was, I'm finna go with my dude. You know what I'm talking about? So to live a life in that made her, to your point, made her character already seem shallow and not even worth the effort of Bayou's devotion and love. So that then speaks to, as a writer, at some point, you're gonna know you got to get off the pot. You know what I'm saying? This ain't working. You know what I'm saying? She was, so was she remorseful at the end of the life? Then was his case solved? Those are questions that I guess in the spoiler we won't. If Marcus wants to spoil that,
yeah. I mean, this is the spoiler time, so let's spoil away. I mean, because it looks like the older lady who, I thought the older lady who came to the detective was Leanne, Oh, she didn't start the case. Okay, okay.
Was that Bayou's mama who went to the guy? He couldn't have been that because the guy. It seemed like to be modern times when that happened, when somebody wanted the case solved, right? Anyway, all right. So obviously we care. You know what I'm saying? So we won't just keep speculating about that. But I do say again, like I said, my overall theme or thought of the movie was that we find, if it's sort of like, I hate to equate this, but it's sort of like when President Obama was president and we got the rainbow on the White House, and we got DACA, and we got these other things. Again, I'm not speaking on any of those things, and all of those things have a right to exist in this space. But again, you would have a level of expectation of something based on maybe our own little ideologies. You know what I mean? That we would have thought something would happen. It take Black Panther. Even at the end of all that, we didn't get no vibranium or none of that. We got a recreation center, and then they flew off into the air. You know what I'm talking about, man? So in all these movies, my God. So at what point, who is Ice Cube going to be the one that break out and finally give us something that's somebody's got to be close to the realm, to the top of the barrel that can really give us a movie that can inspire us to. I ain't gonna say them, and we shouldn't need a movie to inspire us, but since those are some of the platforms and influencers in our lives, then we should use, in my opinion, this medium to not make no Black supremacy, but at least show the ones that got away. At least at the bare minimum, let's show somebody, what I'm saying, made it out alive. And so if we could see a couple of those and give us some solace that as we begin to quail racism and all these things that even that is trying to happen in society, as this melting pot is trying to, can really come together. I think, these type of movies, in my opinion, in some ways do us a disservice because it's not really true history. So it's not a history lesson. This is what I'm saying. So since it was a fictional situation, then why couldn't it? Why? My God, why couldn't we come out?
I guess people want gritty realism. Like,
That's not what I'm saying, but it's gritty realism. I'm saying. All right, I'll let you have that. But again, I'm saying until the lion, now I can't even use that adage anymore, because until the lion is writing the story and the hunter is still being to some degree, I ain't gonna say glorified, but still, it's not turning out, saying the way you would want it to be. So,
hey, I am with you. Like, I don't even.
I may not be articulating this in the way I want.
I get it.
But
I get it.
Yeah.
Like, I want us to go full fantasy. I want like Black people on dragons landed on the moon and crap. I just be like, that's enough of this tragedy, guys. Are you speaking about the continuous of Black man's demise?
Yeah, in some ways. But Marcus, what you said earlier before we got on the air, you called it some kind of porn or something. What do you call it?
Trauma porn.
Trauma porn. Yes, that's Christy. That would be a better description of, what I'm saying, again, because people get addicted to porn. So to your point about continuous demise, what I'm saying, it's not just and even the mother and the choices that people made, what I'm saying, is like, what does that say to us? Why are we saying that in 2022? And when we know that there were strong and vibrant characters that helped to make us come to who we are today. I mean, you couldn't be weak and make it through that. You know what I'm saying? So we know there had to be some tenacity, some stick-to-itiveness, some things that, the brother was jealous of Bayo, and he did want him dead, but why would that be? Why, so does that back on the father, who they showed briefly as a, just basically an irresponsible dude who showed favoritism to his kids, and and I think Bayou wasn't his son, obviously, and what I'm saying. So those blended family, and again, he just kind of threw that in there and left you to your own devices, to questions that people are asking. Did she have remorse? Did she have this? So a lot of unanswered questions, a lot of things that were just thrown into it. Since we're speaking of Tyler Perry, yes. But I'm just saying, again, do you change the script because at the end of the day, to get the millions, they say it can't end that way, or did you always have the script like that? Because again, Bayou, and Marcus, please correct me if I'm wrong, Bayou was a great guy. Bayou had values. Bayou had integrity. Bayou had all these things that you would want in a man. You know what I'm saying? And he did nothing but protect the honor of that girl, and maybe came to some fleshly things, whatever. But I'm saying it was a good guy. He was not a morally corrupt guy. And why would you see on the screen a good guy have a demise like that, a double murder? Basically, you killed him twice. Why would you? What does that say? I think we need more creative black directors to make more movies about America. But if creative black directors make movies and then only them and their mama can see it, then it doesn't really do the culture any good.
Yeah, because we gotta get people to.
And I know time is running out, but let's throw this in here. You had a Jewish person. I'm sorry, you had a Jewish person in the movie, just like in Black Panther. While the black people were fighting with giraffes and killing each other on the field, the white guy gets in a plane and goes shoots down the guy is going to take the vibranium to black people, and the whole theater applauded. You see what I'm saying? And so in this movie now, what gets Bayou and his brother the chance was the Jewish guy who was back in the shadows and the wings, controlling everything. You know what I'm saying? So these themes are still running through movies. These are all things that maybe on their own or just in little small spurts people don't see. But me being a tactician that I am, and having the ability to kind of connect these dots, seeing a lot of stuff, I see these themes, and so I look at it from a different lens than most people. But if we get to the part about maybe how we rate the movie, is that going to be the next part, or did you?
Yeah. That is the next part. It's gonna be.
I think that they wanted to let Gale. Gale may have had some. You had another guest that's waiting to get in, Marcus, I think.
Oh, okay. Well, yeah. All right, we got another guest coming in. It's somebody who has been on Cinesundry with me before, and let's welcome her in, Mrs. Gale Jones Carson.
Hello, how you all doing today?
Wonderful. And I know you got something to say about what we've been saying, so you can pick any part.
What y'all been saying? It depends.
Okay, we're good. Good. If you hadn't heard it, then we're good. So, but we were talking about now the spoiler alert, Marcus. That's where we were. And what were your thoughts, Gale, on the movie overall?
Well, first of all, I think that Tyler Perry outdid himself. He did another stretch, which I know he could do because he's just great like that. Yeah. And so many people kept talking about, oh, this movie is so good. Even my granddaughters were, Granny, you got to watch it. You got to watch it. And it lived up to every expectation I could have had. It's an excellent movie. The acting was great. The storyline was great. So I had to watch the ending a second time and then go back and watch the beginning of it a second time so I could make that connection, because I was like, it was really interesting how it ended. So
do you think that the lady who was passing, do you think she was remorseful in the end, or how did you feel that they gave her closure, her character closure? Was she just happy in the new life with the white guy, or was she? How did you feel about?
She wasn't happy, but I do agree with one of the characters actually his mother and his friend, they told her she was selfish, and she was selfish because he got killed, she died, she lived on, and I mean, she was living in, to me at the end, La La Land. She was just, all the times that she had with him, I just think all this stuff was in her head, and that's what she was. But he was dead, she was selfish. She ended up having a son. It was, she was concerned that he when he was first born, that every day he was going to start looking darker. But at the end, he didn't look like he had a drop of black blood in him. He was a racist, and then he finds out he's a black man. I mean, that was an amazing storyline.
Who's the black man? You talking about the baby, or you talking about the father, the baby's father? Who found out they were a black man?
Okay, so this was my take. Okay, the son, remember?
Yeah.
The son, the black guy was his father.
Yeah.
So he was black. He just looked white. That one drop is real strong now.
And she was, of course, more black, I would imagine, because I guess her father must have been black. Was her mother black too? Just was mother passing as well?
Well, the mother was passing too. They both were passing.
But did the mother have a black? Did they establish?
They never said. They
Yeah.
never said, "Did you watch Imitation of Life?"
Yeah. So they bit a lot off those things, but I'm saying, but how? I mean, it seemed like some kind of way that you could. So we don't know. We're just speculating that she may have had a
Well,
black
I
and
mean,
white
both
father.
the mother and the daughter could pass. They were just that light.
Yeah.
So, I mean, evidently there may have been a black man in there, but it didn't. The daughter didn't look white at all. The mother didn't. I don't. She probably had some. Well, anyway. But
Yeah.
her
Yeah.
son, remember, her son looked completely white. He didn't look
Yeah.
like he was even mixed.
All right, Gail. But Gail, let me ask you this. The last question. The daughter, when she was 15, 16, 18, you can see her being controlled by the mother. You know what I mean? Because the mother tried to keep them in high society, keep the money. But when she came back like 38, 39, and she still saw she loved to buy you, do you think that maybe she should have done something different? Because she said she's gonna leave, and he told her he'd kill her, and say she drowned in the drowned in the river. You remember that when she said she going back to Boston?
Yeah, but I think she was afraid of him. But her mother did have complete control of her.
Yeah.
Her mother, I mean, and she even told her mother she was using her basically to live.
Yeah. So I'm
But
saying that, but the girl should have at some point should have had personal responsibility, right? That should be a theme that maybe if you watched it with somebody that you would say that to a young lady, at some point, when you was young, I thought as a child, I spake as a child, but when I became adult, I put away childish things. So I understand the South and her dependency on her mother. But Bayou then had gone off and made well, what I'm saying, where he was making, I guess, a decent living. So with that being said, they could have started a life maybe somewhere else. I don't know. But I was just
well,
wondering about that thought, about her personal responsibility or personal story.
I don't think she took any responsibility, and I blame him a lot because he was weak, far as I'm concerned.
Who, Bayou?
Yeah, he was weak. I mean, he should have known. First of all, back in those days, he wasn't supposed to have nothing to do with no white female, and then he leaves where he was to go get her.
Yeah.
Why did she sneak off and run where he was?
Well, see, those are writer's choice because, what I'm saying, the
No,
director
I
told me.
believe it's true. I believe that'll happen today.
All right. Well, our friend Christian says if the mother was passing, that means she must have married a white man, which means the daughter was probably 1/4 black.
Yeah,
And
that probably is what happened.
and the producer says, was her grandfather black or mixed?
The grandfather?
I know to that.
Yeah, but again, I mean, I just would believe that the audience shouldn't have to work this hard. You know what I mean? That how hard.
Okay, so I guess I did kind of work a little hard because I had to watch that ending again.
Yeah.
Okay, so she saw him. He was on TV running for Congress, and he was making racist comments. Okay, on doing a TV interview. So the next thing we know, we see her walking down the street or road, and then she goes to his office. She leaves the letters. So when she did that at the beginning of the movie, I thought we were going to have a law case movie. But he read the letters. He noticed the name on the first letter. That was his mother. And so he read all the letters. And when he read the letters, he learned that his father was black.
Because the boy, the son of Bayou was his father.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The guy who got killed, that was his father.
Yeah.
Remember, he went back to get her and his baby. So, Marcus, what's your take on it?
Well, first of all, I want to get Chris's comment. So Tyler left 2-minute story plot holes, even though it was beautifully shot. I agree. There were a lot of plot holes. I was just like, wait a minute now, what and who and this happened, but as we kept saying, I do see growth in Mr. Perry.
Yeah.
I don't want to completely discredit his effort on this, but I do have the questions. I have all the questions, and I feel like
it was an easy. Once I figured out the end, it was easy to me. I mean, the whole story. I mean, to me, it's just back in that time, black men could not look at a black woman. So remember, he had a sexual relationship with the woman, but her husband, the man she married, thought he had just whistled at her or something based on what her mother had said. So he got killed because not because he had intimate relationship with her, but because as in many stories we done heard over and over and over again, you cannot look at a white woman, you cannot whistle at a white woman. If you're a black
But
man, you
but but
stand
Gail,
with that.
Gail. The reality is, she was a black woman. She grew up like the black girl said and slapped her back. Hang on one second. She
But her
grew up.
husband didn't know that.
No, but this one. But I'm saying to you, from Bayou's reality, I'm saying Bayou grew up with this girl as a
Well,
Negro in his
yeah,
neighborhood.
yeah.
So he wasn't going against conventional wisdom to whistle at a white woman. First of all, he didn't whistle at her. That was a lie from her mother.
I know it was a
All
lie.
right,
I
all
knew
right, all right. So I'm saying to you that over all the movies that we've seen, I said this comment before you got here, but it's like finally we wrote the story, and Bayou didn't do anything wrong. So if Tyler Perry would have chosen to allow Bayou to be a singer or be the Nat King Cole or whatever he was destined to be, then we could have walked out of the theater okay, because Bayou didn't do anything wrong. You see what I'm talking about? So that was no
well,
need for Bayou to
so
be killed.
you just did bring a different perspective to me, and that was he never thought she was white. He knew she was black.
Yes, yeah, he knew her as black.
But still, he
Yeah.
knew that she was passing, and he knew that everybody else thought she was white.
But I'm saying he saw her today. If I've been in love with you all my life and I see you today, I don't care what situation you in. My love for you, because he wrote this girl 5 times a week. You know what I'm talking about? So it ain't like he had years to figure this out. He saw her and he was back in love with her immediately. And he tried to tell her, you know what I'm saying? Boom. I'm sorry, Mark. You trying to get control? Go ahead, Mark.
Yeah. Hold on. No, because like Christian Taylor asked this question like 3 times. I'm sorry. Let's go deal with it. Do we feel
No, I
Tyler
don't.
Perry
I don't.
is exploiting black trauma? I mean,
I don't.
I'm gonna say that's kind of a hard one to put on Mr. Perry because I mean, okay,
I would say yes. My voice would be yes. But
You
go ahead.
do?
Yeah, I do. But I can
Why?
respect you guys' opinion. Again, I felt until the lion writes the story, the hunter will always be glorified. We wrote the story. He didn't do anything wrong. Why would Bayou die if we write the story? Why would he die? Why?
Because that's reality. We knew that she was black, but white people did not know she was black. They thought she was white. So that's reality for them. They thought this black man was out of line for saying something.
Hey Gail, you said that's reality for them. I'm saying to you, finally, we get to say the reality. All black men didn't die. What's the guy? The guy Jack Johnson, who rode out of he was a boxer and he rode out of town with a white woman and they fined him $1,000. He gave him $1,000 extra $1,000 because he said I'm coming back with him. So I'm saying everybody didn't die. I'm saying
which one do you think is more reality? Come on now. In this America,
I'm saying to you who's reality and why. I'm saying to you, this is a movie. This is not a story based on historical facts. This is something that I pulled out of my behind that I'm showing you all. So why wouldn't I show this guy? He went off to the city. And even if he decided to come back to the city, we could have chose that he could have got the white woman and his black son, got in the car and rode back out of town. That could have been, and the mama could have been, because the mama deserved some repercussions. She was a snake, and the husband, the white husband was a snake as well. So why they didn't get the pentas? Why they didn't get shot and killed?
I think through Tyler's eyes, he wanted it to be more realistic, and that is realistic that he would die, that he would get harmed.
And also, I don't know. I want to go back.
I'm not trying to change your opinion. I'm just telling you mine, so I can respect yours.
Yeah,
I respect your opinion, but mine not changing.
No. My desire is not to change it. I just give you my opinion. We all have them. We all have a right to it.
And we all have different opinions, you know.
And I respect him. I hope he does well. You know what I'm saying? Again, it is kind of what it is. It's the 12 Years a Slave, The Help. It's those type of movies all over again. But go ahead. Time is up. Go ahead, Marcus.
Like I said, you know, it's fine. You know, Gale and I have disagreed about most things.
No, we were on the same page last movie.
Yeah, we were. But you know, I just think Tyler was trying to be honest and real, like people are saying. And also to go back to, is he exploiting trauma? I mean, that's kind of a tough one because, like, if you put that tag on Tyler, you got to put it on. I mean, I guess the people who made Teal coming out, you know, in
Yeah.
the movies, they're exploiting trauma and the people who made the help or whatever. I mean, because like, I mean, I guess my question is, where is the line between exploiting trauma and like, hey,
Well, okay,
history was
for
really
me,
ugly. This is whatever.
define exploitation, black exploitation, but define that for me.
I mean, I guess exploiting in this case, I guess is just you know, just I guess using the trauma because it affects people, it triggers people, and it makes them watch it, and you know, and he gets money, and that's pretty much the goal.
And to your point, Gail, about what's expected. Again,
Mhm.
that's the expert. You expected the black man to get killed. You see what
I
I'm saying? You
did.
expect, that's what I'm saying. So I'm saying, but every black man didn't get killed, and so I'm saying to you that this could have been an instance where the black man didn't have to get killed. In other words, his character was almost flawless, except his love for this lady was too great that he went back to town to try it, which was a virtue that he was going back to save his mom. Matter of fact, he didn't even go back really for the woman. That was a second, even though that okay, seven. But at least he voiced that he was going back to help his mother, even though we knew that all the time he was going back for this woman.
Exactly.
But I'm saying, but either of those, if you were in trouble and you were somewhere and a man came to say, these are themes that's in Rocky, that's in Rambo, that's in every movie that there is. And so to him to have this then character trait that makes him want to stand up and go and put himself in harm's way to go and for the ones that he loved. And then you're saying, and everybody expected him to be killed. So let's give them what they expect. Why couldn't finally, when we wrote something that he then, like I said, the mother deserved to have something happen to her because she's been a snake for a long time. The white guy obviously said that he kill her in the river and tell everybody she drowned with the current. So he was a bad person. And these people got to ride off into the sunset, you know, with no repentance. And here's a guy who didn't do anything except had great virtues. And you have him killed, shot, and hung. Oh my God. Are you telling me that your conscience is not seeing this stuff in some kind of way? My grandson sees this because y'all saying it's the best one ever been. So we letting our 8-year-old and 9-year-old, 10-year-old people see this stuff, and then this is what they walk with at the end, and everybody's saying this is great. I'm just simply saying my opinion is saying let's look at this from a different angle, and then we can still love Tyler Perry. We can still say he's a great guy, but I'm thinking that this writing and the scripting and all of this is just a bit much. And I don't know, in this time and moment in 2022, did we need this? That's just my personal opinion.
But I think that Tyler was going for realism, and yes, Chrissy, please.
Chrissy, you gotta watch it. Chrissy is really, really good.
Yeah, and he deserves you to watch it. I'm saying the movie deserves you to watch it. So in no way am I saying that this man shouldn't be successful with this project. Again, it is what it is. But I go to white movies all the time. I go to movies that I thought were a waste of my time and my money. I go to movies that I walk away with something that's redeeming. I go to movies that I say, yeah, I think we should have ended another way. These are just opinions, but it doesn't mean that his art form or his showing is not a good showing or good representation of one, black excellence, and two, a great movie or just a good watch or a little
okay, well, let me pose this question.
It was different from what he normally does.
Let me pose this question to you, Michael. So, Chrissy Taylor has said a few times she was like, so Michael wanted Tyler to rewrite history. Because I know there are some people who got away with it, but I feel like more often than not,
very few.
All right, let me answer that. Like they say, beauty is in the eye of the beholder, and I'm saying to you that that when you hear stories, even the Harriet Tubman story, and these stories where Harriet didn't die, she didn't get hung, she didn't do these things. So again, this is an example of how history is. This is a part of history too. But as long as somebody who was your oppressor is writing the story, they would never tell those particular 2 or 3 times when you got away.
You're saying that Tyler did what an oppressor would do?
I'm simply saying here, I ain't gonna put it out, but I'm saying here's an opportunity to give us a different end than the triggered end.
So you're saying that this was
and it wouldn't have been rewriting history because this was made up. This was a fictitious movie.
So you were saying that this was an opportunity that Tyler could have made this black man a hero. because
He
he
didn't
went
do
back to
anything
get his
wrong.
family.
He didn't do
Yeah.
anything wrong. He didn't do anything to justify. If he'd have showed Bayou killing some cats and being malicious and you know what I'm saying, then you could
But
see.
Michael, okay, people thought she was white. So in the society's eyes, he was wrong. Even his mother, his friends, all the rest of them, they were so afraid for him. They knew, they felt, and they knew that he would end up getting killed. They told her, "You're going to get him killed." That's the reality.
But these are all triggered emotions that we all know too well. You understand? And why would we push this theme in 2022? We know that too well, Gail. I'm saying to you that's why I stopped the movie after an hour when he was in the car
You
with her.
did?
Yeah, when he was kissing on her. But I'm saying because I was about to go to bed and I didn't, and I knew, and I thought I thought the sheriff was going to pull up right then and it was going to be a wrap, right? But I knew it still had an hour to go, so I didn't know how he was going to drag this along. So I stopped it because I didn't want it in my psyche when I went to sleep. Because I didn't think that he was going to, you know what I'm saying? So then when I watched it later on, and then you thought, well, now he's up in another town, he's making money, he's sending money back to mom. Maybe he's going to get the girl and they're going to ride off into the sunset. And wow, Tyler did a great job. I can go to bed saying that this is nice.
So you keep saying that this is 2022, but it was not filmed. I mean, it was not 22.
If it was filmed in 1869, there were blacks who then fled from Florida, fled to Florida and California and places that clicked up with the Seminole Indians and the Gullah Wars and all these great things that are happening in Black history. There are a lot of things that you may not know of that actually happened where blacks triumphed, in Haiti.
Did they touch it? This was
our producer says that Michael wanted Django
in America.
I'm just simply saying, if I'm writing the story and it's a made up story, even though you gave me the thrill of in the car, I thought the sheriff was going to come and you gave me those scares. You gave me the reality of the scares of what we know transpired during those times. But right now, today, since we're trying to now say, something different and we're trying to make the races kind of come together and live harmoniously, then here's a chance for you to say, this guy who had a phenomenal talent, he had phenomenal character, he had all these things going for him. Why would he have to be like Uncle Tom, who got beat to death? These are the same things over and over again. Uncle Tom was a great guy. He loved Simon Legree. He was a Christian. He loved the Lord. But Tom died in the book. He got beat to death by another black guy.
Michael, considering how strongly you feel about this, how it could have been, there's a movie called Alice. I don't know if Marcus, have you seen Alice?
Yes, I've reviewed it on this very show.
Well, Alice, Michael, you must watch Alice because she walks away as a black woman. She's a hero. She's a hero, which is
how did it make you feel?
Oh, well, she was Angela Davis. I love that,
But did that make you feel well? Did that make you feel
felt good about that
yes,
movie.
And we could have felt good about Bayou because he was a great character. So I'm not, again, Tyler Perry can do what he wants to do because that's his stuff. But I'm on this channel giving you my opinion, and I'm saying that I would have rather, just like Queen and Slim, who a black woman wrote that, and then, but again, to get that, either you change the endings because the people want that way. It's not, or the Django Unchained again. That was, to your point, that was unrealistic.
All right, Christy.
Yeah, but you knew that Django was unrealistic. But then we walked away again. He rode off into the sunset. So because we're writing the stories, we can end them the way we want to end them. That's all I'm saying. That is my point.
I agree that you can write your story however you want.
Director made a revisionist history that's Quentin Tarantino, Django Unchained, but a prominent black director, Tyler Perry, didn't. That is an interesting contrast.
Maybe I need to write Tyler Perry and ask him why did he kill off the man?
Because
almost in every movie, when people started getting killed, the black characters get killed first.
and it's a big controversy in Hollywood now. They're saying the gay characters get killed off first, and they already got a union and some type of recourse for that. That is already a thing.
I didn't know that.
Well, believe you me, that is a new thing because one of the characters got killed off in one of these movies, and they were saying because he was the LGBTQ, why did he have to go first? You with me? But that's another story for another day. I didn't mean to get into that.
About why the black folks have to go first.
Okay. Well, Dave Chappelle asked how you get to go to the front of the line. Was that Dave Chappelle? Somebody asked how they get to go to the front of the line, but that kind of what's happening today. But again, I get into that movie. Back on you, Marcus. I'm sorry.
I don't want no alphabet smoke, man.
Stop it.
They are They are a very, very organized group that I love. All right.
Yeah, they are very organized and they have strength in numbers.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
again, I just once the movie like Denzel Washington, once these people, I believe even Shaq or some of these people who have the dollars and don't have the connections with the hierarchy and the you know what I'm saying the agenda that has to keep. This is how you can get. Yeah, you can have a low budget, but to get this money, your ending has to be like this. This is I'm just like this is my opinion. I don't know anything, but I'm saying, but I think one of these big money guys who are going to have money are going to be able to let these artists and these directors and these writers write the way they really want to write and have an ending that they really want to. And I'm hoping in my heart that in some ways that Tyler did what the establishment said he had to do. I don't know that, and I don't want to.
I don't think Tyler did that. I really don't think. And
I
understand your perspective.
I take that back. So I don't want to cast any dispersions on Tyler Perry. But if he wrote it and if that's his own thought pattern, I would then, if I have a conversation with Mr. Perry, would ask that his next movie that maybe we could win.
Okay, so Mike, I understand what you're saying, and I'm not disagreeing with you because that's your perspective.
Yeah.
But the reality of this situation is, even though this woman was black, the rest of the world, other than a small group of black folks, thought she was white. And in the real world, a black man does not walk off alive. A black man does not walk off alive in that kind of situation.
She could have came where he was because obviously he was accepted.
Well, she should have. That's what she should have done.
If you write the story, you can make her do that.
Okay,
but they showed him breaking his neck, getting down there, putting his life in danger. That's what
I must interject.
That's what love will do for you. That will
good people, I must interject. It is about time for the sentiment and rating, guys.
All right.
Oh, okay. I was all right. So
did you describe the ratings already, Marcus?
Well,
he described it to me. I don't know if he did to the audience.
Oh,
yeah.
okay.
I've kind of stopped doing it because I did it for a year, and I just feel like
I already know what Michael's rating gonna be.
No, you don't. No, you don't.
No, I do. Yes, I do.
Well, you know what? Let's start with Mr. Davis, since you're, the first time here.
Mr. Davis.
All right. I'm going to go with the Middleton, whatever that is. Am I saying it right?
Yeah.
Middling. Okay, the middling. Again, because I've been to thousands of movies. I don't even watch really TV shows. I don't watch TV at all. I only watch movies, from cartoons to all kind of movies. And I'm a movieologist, so to speak. But to be honest, I didn't really get as critical into this one because of the predictability, and I didn't want to vex my spirit with what I already felt I knew was coming. And it would have been such a great breath of fresh air had he chose to go in a different direction that he didn't choose to go in, and he has every right to not go in that direction. But to those aspiring directors and writers, especially of Black origin, melanated descent, I would just ask that, because we do have the power in the pen, and imagery is everything, and what the perceptions become reality, and your subconscious doesn't know the difference between a period of 18 something and now. So again, these are images that I don't think are beneficial to Black babies and minds in 2022. So that's my opinion. But however, again, I've seen other movies like this, and so for what it's worth, it is what it is. And I would say the middling is what I would suggest. I would suggest that you, somebody under 13, you wouldn't let them see it. And if you did let them see it, that you would watch it with them and explain some other choices that these woman could make, how the mother is manipulating that, kind of give some themes. Because if a child sees this unchecked and unbridled, then they could really walk away with themes that we don't want perpetuated into the future of Black America in general.
Such as what, Michael? Such
as that you would then first of all, when she made the Black woman
no, that was awful. That was awful.
So you can see again, I can pick out many like this that if left unbridled, would then your child would have to, just like we had to figure out some things we had to figure out. Just imagine an 8, 9, 10, 11-year-old child watching this and don't know about passing. We say the word passing because everybody knows the meaning of that. Everybody knows the nuances of what that means and that time period. And, and Tyler Perry left so much out that a kid today who lives in today's society how would they inculcate that? How would they decode that information? It's if you, the longer I talk, the more I'm gonna slide down to this other thing. But let me stop talking here and leave with my.
But Michael, Michael, this is 2022. 2022. And depending on what part of the country you're in, what state you're in, interracial relationships, even today, are not viewed well. And some Black men can be hurt by those situations depending on where they are in the South. Do you disagree with me?
The girl was Black for all practical purposes. She could have gone where he was and been
Black.
She could have been Black where he was. She could have been Black where he was. She didn't have to. She
didn't. She chose to stay down there with her mother.
Okay, I'm just saying that's a conversation. That's a conversation that needs to be had. That's all I was saying. So again,
I don't like the fact they didn't let us know what happened to the mother. I was hoping something good didn't happen to her, but anyway.
Or the husband. The husband was horrible. He was a racist. He was going to continue to be racist in the town. Maybe he could have not won as mayor. Maybe he could have got ran out of town. Maybe Tyler could have made something happen to those people, and Bayou could have came back. They could have said she lied. They could have said you see what I'm talking about? They could have.
Michael, you are moving away from the reality of that period.
Look at Emmett Till now, 30, 40 years later. The white woman recanted and said she lied.
Yeah, she's 90-some years old.
Okay, I'm saying in a made-up movie, the woman could have said she could have been remorseful. The mama could have said she could have been on her deathbed. I could write this. She died after got cancer, and she
my good
died before they do it.
It ain't that serious, Michael.
I'm just saying, but that's how it could have went. She could have recanted just like that woman did. Not 30 years later, but she could have did it where Bayou could have came back in town. If you write a movie from a Black perspective, why? Why wouldn't you?
So Michael, you already know what my rating is. Michael, you know what my rating is, right? Because I love time.
I'm sorry. Let me sit back up because I'm sitting all comfortable. Yeah. What's your rating, Gail? What do you say?
My rating is Artur.
Okay.
Because I love the stretch that he did. I love the fact that it kept my attention from beginning to end. And it was an absorbing movie for me. Everybody I talked to before I watched this movie said watch it. They all talked about how good it was, and they did not get, I guess, like how you and I and Marcus are analyzing. They didn't get into that. They went to watch this movie. It was an enjoyable movie, and to me, I know what you're saying, that she wasn't really white, but that in the reality of their eyes on this movie, she was a white woman. And what happened to him generally is what would have happened. And of course, you said some men have gotten away with it and walked off in the sunset. I don't know of any of those men, especially during that time. So for me, I think I love the fact that I love Madea too, but I love all of Tyler's movies. I love to see that he's doing something different, and it was a good movie for me. I give it Artur.
All right. Yeah, I did expect that. And as always, I respect you, Gail. You know that. But well, let's see. My turn. I'm in the full picture here. The spotlight's on me. All right, Chief.
Okay. I'm waiting, Marcus. I'm waiting.
I saw growth again. And I applaud that growth. But it was predictable. There were some prop and wardrobe issues that kind of took me out of the period, and a lot of the whole kind of more current parts. I didn't quite understand all that. It was a little unclear to me. So I too am going for middling.
Oh my God. Wow, you were supposed to be over there with me with Tyler now.
Okay, now you remember the last time we did a Tyler Perry film, I gave it a hack.
I know. I was sick for about a week after that.
Hey, Gail.
Yes, sir.
Hey, Gail, would this be implicit bias? In other words, since you already like Tyler Perry, and since the people already told you it's the greatest ever done, that you went into it already with paralysis of analysis, that you didn't come in analyzing the actual story because you had already decided in your subconscious that you're going to love this, as many people do. Again, this is how influencers work, and that's the whole point of what happens. You know what I'm saying?
Michael.
Well,
I'm a diehard. Look, I'm a diehard movie fan from years ago. Nobody influences me about movies. Some people talk about movies great and wonderful. They're not to me.
Yeah.
But I do love Tyler Perry, though. I'm gonna tell you that.
I can respect that for real, though, Gale. I was just messing with you for real, though. But again, Tyler's paid some dues. Like I said, living in his car, the things he's gone through, nobody can take that away from him.
And then look how he gives back. He brings back old actors. And, a lot of that when you're in the movie industry, after you get a certain age, you kick to the curb.
Yeah.
Tyler Perry's not done that. He brought back Cicely Tyson and some other African Americans who were kicked to the curb. So he's created a lot of jobs for the African American community in every area, not just acting. I just think that he's just a phenomenal person.
Yeah,
and I truly like his work.
Yeah, I watched the movie, the cartoon. I don't know, some of the black girl and the monster or something. Anyways, the guy said, "But you're disrespecting the monster killers, all the heroes before them." And the guy said, "You can still be a hero and still be wrong, huh? Such a neighbor." So I'm saying to you that Tyler Perry, as great as he is, in my opinion, this is just my opinion, and that as great as he is, that platform, that bully pulpit that he has, could help quail the psyche of a lot of black people who are not connected with that slave moment. But we, as parents, we've almost not talked it out about. In other words, we didn't really we didn't engross our kids into that slave culture. So a lot of them don't know.
But Micah, I am a black mother, and most black mothers are fearful for our black sons in those situations. So my mindset was there also.
Mm-hmm.
Even today, if my son mess with a white female, I'm worried to death. And this is 2022. So it's a mindset for most, I think, most black women, mothers.
Yeah, mothers. And we have those conversations about police and about black women.
Right. Guys, I love y'all, and I'm so sorry.
Is he finna kick us off, Michael? Michael, is he finna kick us off?
We ain't gotta go home. We ain't gotta go home, but we gotta leave here.
The unseen producer's telling me, she gave me the wrap it up beat.
Where Angela at? Where Angela?
And now we need the extended version. Y'all have to go online and see the real version after the after party.
Sadly,
but Michael, I do suggest. I really, really wish that you would watch Alice. It is a phenomenal movie. I mean, the storyline is amazing, and it's based on, some of it is based on fact.
Alfred Woodard?
No, that is with Keke Palmer and Common.
Okay.
All right. So, guys, wrapping up. You see, Mr. Davis gave it a middling. I gave it a middling. Gale gave it. And yes, our tour. I respect it. All right. So that's gonna bring this spoiler discussion of A Jazzman Blues to a close. And remember, sadly, there will be no extended version uncut. Marcus finna go eat some dinner. Sorry, y'all. I love y'all. But look.
Tell y'all next time.
But hey, first of all, I want to ask that you like this video, comment down below on the video, and please subscribe to the On Location Memphis YouTube channel. Yes, Christy, we know Tyler has some storytelling deficiencies. And also, guys,
Chris is over there with me, even though she didn't see the movie.
And also, guys, remember, in closing, I always ask that you take some time and treat yourself to a movie, and we will see you next time.